sounds like somebody's home. The text on the heart is clearer now. Legible. I knew it would be here, like I saw it in a dream.
On this case with me, Anderson. It's right up your alley.
The victim was one of their own. FBI Special Agent Robert Nightingale.
Only the rumors. He was chasing a writer.
Someone knew they were here. Was playing a game with them.
The killer left a message.
It's for us. The text is about us.
We were all trapped in a horror story. The horror story wanted us dead. There's something I'm forgetting. Something important. Something's not right!
Easy now. First things first. What's your name?
It is not to end up as either. But trapped by the genre, we're all ripped to pieces along the way.
No! Welcome! We have a great show for you here tonight. Alan Wake, one of my all-time favorite writers, and guests on the show. He's here to talk about his latest. Initiation tells the story of a fictional writer named Alan Wake, who is trapped in a nightmare, desperately trying to find the manuscript of a novel he has forgotten he's written.
Did you write these pages, Mr. Wake?
I'm trying to remember it.
You're the killer. The cult leader.
No! You've got the wrong man! It's my fault! He got out!
Wake has a double. Where is he now?
I don't want to be in the story, just write me out of the story!
Alan Wake 2 is a psychological survival horror game, and the player takes on the role of two different hero characters. The titular character, Alan Wake.
This story is a monster.
And a new character, Saga Anderson.
Glad you're on this case with me, Anderson.
Alan Wake 2 has many twos in it. Two narratives. We are exploring two worlds. It's not just Alan Wake this time.
We have this theme of duality and echoes in Alan Wake 2, so we needed a counterpoint, like another perspective in the game that would play off of Alan's, as well as having a character located in the Pacific Northwest, so we could have both of those worlds present in the game and playable for the players.
Even when we are not playing him, there are a lot of things that tie the story to him, and there are other ways how he is present in those moments as well.
The character of Saga, she's an FBI agent and relative newcomer to the Bright Falls area. She is a really capable investigator. She is a mom. She's a teller of bad puns. What's not to love?
She's enthusiastic about her job. She really enjoys what she does, but I think her most defining quality for me is her kindness. She's a very empathetic person, and she brings that into her work, and it makes her a better detective and profiler. These two different professions that are similar but different. The artist is looking for inspiration, the detective's looking for answers. You can see the parallel there, but there's different approaches to those things.
We're obviously quite aware that the first game came out 13 years ago, so we wanted to make sure that we had a hero character who would bring the perspective of new players. We wanted to make sure that new players into the experience would be learning with her through the story.
We wanted to make absolutely sure that we find the right actor for the role, and we were looking for quite a while for Saga.
Hi, I'm Melanie Liebird, and I'm playing Saga Anderson in Alan Wake 2. This is my first time working in this medium and doing a game. It's just nice to learn something new. The voiceover part of it can be very intense when you get in the booth, but I've learned so much.
All of us have been working with Melanie, and because of the writing process being ongoing, there are always new ideas and writing it more and more specifically to her as a role.
I'm excited for the world to see Saga because I think she's a brilliant role model. And just to see a woman in this role, a woman of color being a protagonist in a game that we don't see that often, and just to have a lifestyle that she has, doing her best to balance work and a family, and I just think that's really relatable for a lot of people.
While, we wanted to create one cohesive experience, we wanted to give each kind of playable character and their world its own style and mood.
Something's not right!
In the setup for Saga's experience, she's investigating these ritualistic serial killings. When we were looking at, from a narrative and tone perspective, looking at things like True Detective, we actually have a lot of 90s references in terms of things like Seven.
The events that bring her to the Pacific Northwest are a series of murders, and they think there might be a serial killer somewhere lurking in the area.
Part of this experience taking place in Pacific Northwest is centered around our fictional small town of Bright Falls. This idyllic, slightly quirky small town that clearly then under the surface has shadows and darker things waiting and a mystery waiting.
In the first game, you didn't really get to explore the environments, but now you will be able to
walk around the streets, discover the town a bit more, and revisit existing locations, like the diner, for example.
Quite a lot of research was done to prepare for this project. I spent several weeks reading research papers, gathering data on forest surveys, learning about key species of the area to properly do justice to the Pacific Northwest. The photogrammetry side of it means that we can actually scan trees on site ourselves. The trees that we're seeing in the game are literally the trees that are from this area in the Pacific Northwest.
Player will be going back to Cauldron Lake, which is obviously a key part of the story, be exploring all the forests that are around there. And because we kind of are more slightly open area based, so the player can freely explore, the player can kind of go back and revisit locations as part of their playthrough.
Saga Anderson, she's not just any FBI agent coming into this case. There are elements to this that very much tie to kind of who she really is and a journey. A mystery to be discovered there as well.
I was playing a lot of fantasy games before I really had ever heard about Alan Wake, and a friend recommended it. And it had a big impression on me just because of how complex the characters were. Seeing a game that rivaled other mediums with its complexity of character was really inspiring to me.
Hello? The game that sort of nailed Remedy and their storytelling.
I was mostly impressed by the atmosphere and the lighting, and especially I think the use of music.
It was unlike anything I'd ever played, and it felt like I was transported into this playable Stephen King novel with this weird story taking me for a crazy ride.
It was first of all proving that we can do bigger games in Finland. There's this Finnish flavor in it that you cannot really put your finger on it, and I like it dearly.
We are kind of like cherishing our culture and what we are known for, our quirky little things and manners.
Obviously, before Alan Wake, you had Max Payne, which was quirky and strange. But I would say Alan Wake kind of took those qualities and ramped them up to 11. And it's very rare to see a game that is equal parts horror, humor, and strangeness.
Al, please tell me we're headed for the nearest "You're now leaving Bright Falls. Come back soon" sign.
It was very, very important to me to come up with a hero character who is not a professional hero. Him being a writer allowed me to explore the idea of creative process and writing process as part of the plot, which keeps on being an element, of course, in Alan Wake 2 as well.
I think it's kind of common knowledge that we took a lot of inspiration from Twin Peaks, and there was nothing quite like that at the time. We tried to, in that game, integrate the story into the gameplay more, so with the manuscript pages the player found, kind of try and find novel ways to kind of tell the story.
These projects are huge endeavors, and many things, many of them totally out of your control, need to click into place for a big game to happen. There is an element of luck. The same very cool concept at a certain point in time might not get any interest or excitement around it. Suddenly everybody wants it.
Fuse box is missing a fuse.
Horror as a genre in pop culture overall has been growing in popularity a lot. And I think that was the missing puzzle piece in creating a concept of Alan Wake 2 where everything just suddenly clicked into place and was very exciting.
In the build-up to the Game Awards, announcing Alan Wake 2 was huge for us. It was huge for the team because this is an idea that has lived in Sam's brain for 13 years, and now we finally get to present at least a sliver of it to the world.
This is so exciting. Alan Wake 2, it's been a decade. Fans have been asking you for it. Why is now the right time to bring him back?
We knew this is going to be a pretty scary experience. Now we are convinced everybody is ready. You are ready.
We showcased a demo of the game when we were at the Summer Games Fest. We chose a mission which takes place on Saga's side, and it showcases the Pacific Northwest.
She's investigating. There's a lot of supernatural weirdness. For fans of the franchise, it's a return to Cauldron Lake, an old friend, and it's got Casey in it.
Remedy's really found its niche. We know our strengths. We know what we are good at. We know that is world building, that is atmosphere, and we keep building on these strengths, and we keep investing into all other areas and seeing how can we do more, how can we go bigger, how can we go bolder.
It's a story that you're not told, it's a story that you play. And the team has done a lot of really great work in coming up with unique and interesting ways to make that experience playable.
Between every game project that we have made, we have done a new concept of Alan Wake 2. It's been frustrating through the years not being able to get it started and be excited about it, and then it's not happening. I think that the game we are now making is by far the most exciting, the most interesting and ambitious one out of all of those concepts, and I'm really, really happy that it's this Alan Wake 2 that we are making and none of the earlier ones.